Hello students, welcome back to Global Online. So in this session, we are going to discuss 50 plus expected MCQs. It is for those students who are seriously preparing for the upcoming December attempt of NTA UGC NET exam from Commerce and Management. If you want to increase your score in paper 2, watch this video because these MCQs are totally on the business environment and international business unit, which is the most scoring unit, right? So watch this video till end and share as maximum as you can.
So this is first question on your screen. You can see, according to Porter's diamond model, which element creates a pressure for innovation within domestic firms? So we have discussed the Porter's diamond model. What is it and what is the name of that diamond model? Okay. So option A, strong domestic demand. B, governmental subsidies. C, absence of competition. And D, abundant natural resources. So if you have watched the previous session in which we have discussed the Porter's model, so you can give an answer in a comment box. Okay, whatever A, B, C, D, just give an answer in a comment box. I'll give you some time for it. All right. So option A, strong domestic demand, right? See, Porter suggests that sophisticated and demanding domestic customers pressures firms to innovate and upgrade, right? So that is the major reason why the firms are innovating and upgrading their products. Even in the product life cycle, we have seen that. Okay, once your product demand increases, okay, day by day or after some time, it will decrease the demand. Clear? So you have to innovate your product, because when the recession period, sorry, not recession, the decline period is every firm is facing, right? That time the demand decreases, your product is not upgraded right now. Okay, so you should upgrade that product and you should innovate something in that, so customer increase their demand for your product. Clear? So here in the Porter's theory, what Porter is suggesting, domestic demands can influence the firm's production or firm's innovation and upgradation policies or functions, right? If the domestic demand or domestic customers, okay, demanding for a particular product more and more, then firms need to upgrade those products. Okay, this helps firms anticipate global consumer needs, giving them competitive edge in the international market. Okay, so that is how the firms can grow and firms can be competitive in the market. Clear? So strong domestic demand is the correct answer. So if you are preparing for the upcoming NT UGC NET examination from management and commerce background, we have come up with the right preparation strategy for you, in which the experts will guide you, will give you right direction how you will crack this examination, even if you are preparing for the first time for this examination. Okay, in this complete course we are providing you the complete video lectures in which your all concepts of paper 2 will be covered. Then you will be provided with the syllabus, full syllabus notes. All the 10 units of your paper 2 will be covered in that. Okay, you can also read those notes when you are traveling or whenever you want to. If you have notebook, if you have uh, notepad, mobile phone, tablet, laptop, wherever you can have access to those. Mock tests will be provided to you, so you will practice more and more, and then your confidence will build more. Okay, and you will be able to answer the tricky questions, moderate to hard level questions, any questions. PYQs will be provided with the right explanation of it, so you will understand the examination pattern, from which topics the more questions are coming out, and what is the exact right answer and why. All the explanation will be provided. Doubt clearing sessions will be there, in which you can ask the questions to your experts. Experts will guide you and you will prepare better. Marathon sessions also will be there. Okay, so this is complete course for your upcoming NT UGC NET examination if you are preparing for the December attempt. Okay, what you need to do, just join the course. To join the course you have to message on this number, just WhatsApp your what we can say, just write a message on a WhatsApp number or give a missed call on a WhatsApp number. You will be guided. Okay, and start your preparation from today. You will be totally completely ready for the examination till the exam, right? Next, under mercantilism, which policy would a government most likely implement to protect its economy? Okay, to protect the gold and silver of that company, to protect the strength. Clear? Free trade agreement, import tariffs and export incentives, floating exchange rates, or factor mobility program. So obviously it is import tariffs and export incentives. Clear? See, mercantilists policy support protectionism. Protection against what? Their strength, their wealth, right? Imposing tariffs on imports to reduce foreign goods and subsidizing export to increase national wealth. So more the export will be, the more your wealth will be increasing. Clear? It assumes wealth is finite and trade surplus strengthen national power. So here in the mercantilism theory, what happens when the company or when a country, okay, to strengthen their wealth, okay, so basically country considers their wealth is gold and silver, okay, to strengthen their wealth they increase the export and reduces the import, and for that reason they can implement any policies, like a government is intervening in the global market to reduce the import and increase the export. What government is doing? They are imposing tariffs on imports, so imports will be reducing, okay, foreign goods will be coming less in the market or in the domestic market, right? And the exports will be increasing. So when the exports are increasing, obviously your wealth will be increasing, correct? So that is how the countries are what we can say, increasing their wealth. Clear? Next, in the maturity phase of product life cycle, a company is most likely to focus on innovation and research and development, face declining demand, increase cost efficiency and standardize production, or D, invest in product diversification. So right answer is option C, increase cost efficiency and standardize production. Okay, in a product life cycle, when a maturity phase is there, companies most likely to increase the cost efficiency and standardize production. Okay, so what happens in a maturity rate, maturity phase? See, as the product reaches maturity, competition intensifies, right? The price becomes a key factor. Firms focus on standardization, cost leadership, and efficiency to maintain profit margin as sales growth slows. Why is mercantilism criticized in the context of global trade development? It discourages industrialization, it supports free trade, it views trade as mutual beneficial, it leads to trade wars and colonial exploitation. Okay, so mercantilism criticize, that means it leads to trade wars and colonial exploitation, correct? Because every country is focusing on what? Increasing their wealth, that means securing their gold and silver. Clear? Correct. See, mercantilist policies led to aggressive export strategies and military backed trade monopolies. Correct. This often escalated into colonialism and conflict as nations sought to control resources and market for their own gain. Okay, so strictness were followed by the countries, and that is why the trade wars were happened and colonial exploitation was also happened. Clear? Which factor would mostly likely to cause a developed countries to lose its early stage production advantage in product life cycle theory? Okay, emergence of cost efficient producers in developing countries, stronger patent laws, high domestic demand, or increased research and development investment. So that is emergence of cost efficient producers in developing countries, right? As a product matures and becomes standardized, developing countries can produce it more cheaply due to the lower labor cost. Okay, but this happens only in the maturity phase. Clear? Developed countries lose their advantage and often shift production offshore to remain competitiveness. Correct? To stay in the market, developing countries may take this kind of steps to be there in the market. Okay, to keep their product alive in that market. Which condition would contradict the assumption of Heckscher-Ohlin theory? So basically, there is one option who is contradicting the assumption of Heckscher-Ohlin's theory. Which option is that? A. Uniform production technology. B. Mobile factor within countries, or immobile factors between countries, or product differentiation and brand loyalty. So right answer is immobile factors between countries, between two countries. Okay. See, Heckscher-Ohlin assumes perfect competition, correct, and homogeneous products. When branding and product differentiation dominate trade decisions as seen in the real markets, the theory's assumption break down, limiting its real world applicability. Okay. Next question. Which of the following best explains a country's persistent competitive advantage in high-end luxury brands? Labor abundance, mercantilist exports, porters' firm strategy and rivalry, or D. Standardized production? So right answer is option C, Porter's firm strategy and rivalry. Clear? Porter's argues that the strong domestic rivalry and unique firm strategies drive innovations and global competitiveness. Correct? That is what we have seen in the Porter's theory. Correct? Countries like France or Italy maintain luxury brands dominance due to competitive pressure and strategic firm structures. Right? So these are the countries who are exporting or who are good at their products. Correct? They are having dominance in their brand, their luxury brands, and due to competitive pressure and strategic firm structure. Okay, that is the reason behind it. Understood? So that is the right answer, C, Porter's firm strategy and rivalry, which is explaining the country's persistent competitive advantage in high-end luxury brands. All right, so if you have watched the previous session, then you must be knowing this question. I have given this question as a homework for you, right? Which of the following statements best represents a critique of Maslow's theory? So right as answer was option D. It may not be considered cultural or individual differences because it may not be same always. Clear? Here is the explanation. You can take a screenshot and read the explanation, or you can watch or you can read that after the video end. Okay. Which of the following best represent a key element discovered in the Hawthorne experiments? Okay. Division of labor, financial incentives, informal work groups, or scientific time study. Okay, so this is the informal work groups. How? See, sometimes what happens, more than informal instructions, we feel more motivated, more confident with the ideas given by the PAs. Okay, given by the groups, right? So we feel more motivated or more positive in that ideas. See, one major finding from the Hawthorne studies was the importance of informal work groups. Okay, who are those informal work groups? Your peers. Okay, your group solidarities, right? These groups created their own norms, influenced individual productivity, maintained team cohesion, right? See, workers valued peer approval and group solidarity more than formal instructions, as I have told you. Okay, as I told you, the people feel more positive, more motivated, okay, with the peer approvals more than the formal instructions. Clear? Mayo highlighted that informal relationships have strong impact on the work behavior, right? यू फील मोर मोटिवेटेड जब कोई आपका दोस्त जो आपके साथ काम करता है अगर आपको आइडियाज देता है तो आप और अच्छे फील करते हैं राइट rather than the instructions that is given by your senior or superiors, right? You will feel not that much motivated or that much of positive energy to doing work, but rather than if any one of your friend, okay, or colleague, which is your favorite colleague, has given you some of the words or some of the ideas to do work, how you can do work, right? Then you will follow that thing more than the formal instructions. Clear? Managers must consider these social systems while designing work environment. Clear? So this happens with the informal work groups, and that is how the Houghton studies said the importance of informal work groups. Clear? Okay. What was the primary conclusion drawn from the Houghton studies conducted by Elton Meyer? A. Higher wages alone increase productivity. B. Physical conditions are most important factor. C. Social and psychological factors influence productivity. And D. Strict supervision leads to higher efficiency. So the right answer of this question is option C. The social and psychological factors influence productivity. Okay, I'll explain it. See, the Houghton study revealed that workers are motivated not just by money or working conditions, but also by psychological and social factors as well. Clear? You must be understanding this statement. Houghton studies is saying that some of the times or majority of times employees or the workers will not be satisfied by working conditions or money only. They can be satisfied by psychological or social factors as well. Okay, when employees feel valued, heard, and included in decisions, their productivity improves. Definitely, it will give them more confidence to speak, more confident to work. Okay, they will be satisfying doing the work. Getting it? When they feel they are respected, okay, they are valued, they are heard, whatever they are saying, the ideas they are giving, that those ideas will be heard by other senior officers and all. Okay, that time they will feel more satisfied. Their productivity will also improve. Clear? So Elton Mayo emphasized the role of human relationship at the workplace, right? So Elton Mayo, okay, explained about the human relationship at workplace, how human relationships are important at workplace, right? Group dynamics and sense of belonging were found to be key contributors to the performance. This gave rise to the human relations movement in the management. So this is work of HR. HR will do this kind of initiatives or this kind of things in a company. So people get motivated not only by the money and working conditions, but also by the psychological and social factors as well. Clear? That is the study is talking about. What is the Hawthorne effect as derived from the studies? A. Workers performs worse under the observation. B. Observation has no effect on workers. C. Performance drops with more supervision. And D. Workers improve performance when they know they are being observed. Okay. So right answer is option D. The Hawthorne effect is derived from the studies. Workers improve performance when they know they are being observed. Clear? See, the Hawthorne effect is tendency of people to perform better when they know they are being observed. So what it is saying, when you are observing someone who is doing work in front of you, so just say you are an HR and you're just watching your employee that they are working. You're constantly observing that person, right? But that time that employee will feel that HR is watching me. I need to do work harder or I need to do work smarter, whatever. But the HR should be impressed. Clear? In a simple word, I am telling that. Right? So that is the effect. Okay, tendency of people, how the employees tendency, okay, is changing as HR is watching them, observing them, how they are working, their performance will be better. Yeah, that is the Hawthorne effect is saying. During the studies, productivity improved simply because workers felt they were receiving attention. Clear? This psychological boost influenced their motivation. Getting it? So this thing or this activity, okay, the observation activity is more motivating. Okay, this is motivating the employee to do a good work, right? Elton Moyer highlighted the importance of human emotions and perceptions in workplace behavior. The effect underscores that employees are not machines. They respond to recognition and interest. So basically what happens when someone is observing, you feel motivated. How you feel motivated? Because if you feel that someone is observing, you feel that you are receiving attention, right? And then you will work more productive. Clear? That is the Hawthorne effect is telling you. Next question. What was the primary focus of interviewing program during the Hawthorne studies? Okay. Physical fatigue, monitoring output, understanding employee attitudes, and enforcing disciplines. Clear? So the right answer is option D, option C, understanding employee attitudes, right? All right, the interviewing program aimed to understand workers' thoughts, feelings, attitudes toward their jobs and management, right? This phase involved open-ended conversation that gave employees a voice. So they can talk about their experiences, talk about their thoughts, feelings, and attitudes, okay, towards their job and management. It revealed that emotional factors strongly influence motivation, right? Mayo concluded that communication and empathy are vital managerial skills, and this program marked a shift from treating workers as a tool to respecting them as individuals. Okay. Next question is about Alderfer's theory. Okay. What does ERG in Alderfer's theory stands for? Effort, result, and growth, existent relatedness and growth, energy, reward and goals, or earning respect gains. What does it mean about the ERG? Okay, so ERG is existence, relatedness, and growth. Okay, this Alderfer's theory condensed Maslow's 5 levels of needs into 3 core categories. One is existence. Okay, one is existence. Basic material needs like a food, water, salary, that is the existence. Relatedness, social and relationship needs. Okay, and growth, self-development and personal growth. Clear? So these are the ERG of Alderfer's theory. See, it refined Maslow's model of workplace relevance. Unlike Maslow, Alderfer allowed that these needs can exist simultaneously and in any order. Right? This basically it is quite similar with the Maslow's theory of needs, but it is a refined version of that. Okay, that the Alderfer's theory is about. Clear? So remember that ERG means existent relatedness and growth. Next question. How is Alderfer's ERG theory different from Maslow's hierarchy of needs? A. Alderfer's theory has more levels. B. Alderfer's needs must be fulfilled in a fixed order. C. Alderfer allows multiple needs to be active at once. Or D. Alderfer ignores social needs. Okay, so how it is different? Alderfer allows multiple needs to be active at once. Okay, see, unlike a Masco, who proposed a strict hierarchy where one need must be fulfilled before moving to the next, right? That we have seen in the previous session as well, that, like how Maslow is said about the one thing you should first fulfill and then you need to move to the next one, right? Then only you will be more productive in time. But Alderfer is saying Alderfer allowed all in once, right? That is the flexibility that he said. Multiple needs can be active at the same time. He has given an example as well. A person can seek both salary, that means existence, and career growth, that is the growth, that means existence and growth. These are the needs, okay, and they are satisfying at a one time, at once, okay, simultaneously. This makes ERG theory more practical and adaptable to individual differences It reflects real life behavior in workplace motivation more accurately. Okay, this is more refined version of Maslow. Next, according to the ERG theory, what happens when a higher level needs remains unfulfilled? Okay, this is a kind of challenging question from the Maslow to the next theory, right? Person ignores all needs, person gets demotivated permanently, person regresses to the fulfill a lower level need, or option D, the person continues to focus only on growth. So the right answer is option C, person regresses to fulfill a lower level needs. Clear? See how it happens. A key concept in ERG theory, first you need to understand that, is the frustration regression, which means if an individual is unable to satisfy a higher level need, okay, what is that higher level need? That is the growth. They may refocus on fulfilling a lower level needs, right? A best example I can tell you, if you cannot do a proper work, okay, if you are not understanding how you need to do or how you can complete this task, go to the basic again, learn basic things again, and then move to the advanced one. That is the kind of thing, okay, this theory is explaining. Okay, so for example, an employee denied promotion may shift focus to earning more over time. This makes ERG theory more dynamic than Maslow's. It helps managers understand employee behavior shifts. Okay, so this is the thing. Next, in the Hawthorne studies, which phase involved changing lighting levels to observe productivity changes? A. Illumination studies. B. Bank wiring test room. C. Relay assembly test room. And D. Interview program. Okay. So the right answer is option A. Illumination studies. Clear? Next. Which of the following needs in ERG theory corresponds to Maslow's esteem and self-actualization needs? Okay. Existence, relatedness, growth, or safety. Okay. I'm expecting that everyone will give the answer of this question, okay, in the comment box. Okay, I'll give you some time for that. All right. So the right answer is option C, the growth. In ERG theory, growth needs align with the upper layers of Maslow's pyramid or hierarchy. Okay, esteem and self-actualization. The Maslow's pyramid is esteem and self-actualization. That ERG theory needs to be aligned with that. Okay. They include personal development, creativity, and achieving full potential. Okay, still we have not come to the point. Now you should focus here. Employees seek challenging work, opportunities to learn, and sense of accomplishment here. Okay, so basically, kind of a person is seeking for more motivation. Okay, something new challenging to them, something new opportunities to do work, right? Alderfer believed growth needs continue to emerge even after others are met. That means you have completed one thing, but still you want something new. Still you want to challenge something. Still you want to achieve something that will motivate you better. Getting it? That the Alderfer is trying to say. Growth arrives long-term motivation and engagement. So how you will engage in your work? How you will be continuously motivated to do work? Okay, when you feel some of the challenging things, when you complete some of the challenging work, okay, the new opportunities to learn, then only you will be understanding the new things, you will be experiencing new things, you will be learning new things. Clear? So that is the thing, the growth. Okay, self-actualization needs or esteem for Maslow's theory is aligned with the growth. Clear? Which of the following are covered under TRIPS agreement? So TRIPS is basically related to your intellectual property, correct? Intellectual property protection actually. All right. So these are the options from which there are some options which are not covered under the trips. Okay, that you need to eliminate and you have to answer which are the covered in the trips agreement. Okay. So copyright is there, GI tag is there, investment incentives, industrial design, tariff binding. So right answer should be obviously A, B, and D, because copyright, GI tag, and the industrial designs are covered in the trips agreement. Okay. Rest of like investment incentives are not covered because it is related to your trims, not trips. And this tariff binding is related to your GAT, not trips. Correct? So that is why only A, B, and D are the correct answers. Understood? Moving to the next question now. Which of the following principles are common to both GAT and GATS? Right? Most favored nations, national treatment, binding commitments, subsidy restrictions, and voluntary licensing. So there are some of the principles, okay, in these five options which are common in GAT and GATS as well. Okay, so which are those? BDE, ACD, ABC, or ABE? You can give your answer in a comment box as well. Okay, I'll give you some time for it. All right. So right answer is option A, B, and C. That means most favored nation, national treatment, and your binding commitments. Okay. Let's have a explanation of it. Like MFN, most favored nation, national treatments, and binding commitments. These three options or these three principles are existing in the both GAT and GATS. Correct. Apart from this, subsidy restrictions are primarily under SCM, not directly common in the both. Correct? And voluntary licensing related to the TRIPS. It is not related to the GAT and it is not related to the GATS as well. Correct? Understood? So that is why option A, B, and C was correct. Now let's move to the next question. Which of the following is or are not part of the GATS, that means General Agreement on Trade in Services? Okay. First you need to understand the question. It is asking not the part of General Agreement on Trade in Services, right? Options are cross-border supply, national treatment, mode 5 supply, commercial presence, and mode 2 supply. Now you must be wondering what is this 5 supply and 2 supply? I'll explain you after announcing the answer, right? So right answer is option C. That means only mode 5 supply. Correct? Let's have a discussion on it. So basically right answer is option C, that is mode 5 only, which is not recognized the CATS mode. Correct. Why? Because see, the mode 5 services are subject to the rules which are governing trade in goods. What is it? Trade in goods, which is not actually related to the GATS, which is uh, focused or which is related to the service mode. Correct. So it is focusing on goods mode. Only four modes which is connected with the GATS. What are those five modes? Cross border is there, consumption abroad, commercial presence, movement of natural person, right? Along with that, national treatment is also GATS principle. Correct. Mode 2, it is also a valid GATS mode. Correct. Only mode 5 is not related to the GATS mode because it is focusing or it is governing in the trade in goods. Trade in goods. Correct. And GATS is what? GATS is related to the services. Understanding? So that is why the right answer was option C, which is not related to the GATS. Moving to the next question now, which is related to the TRIMS. Which of the following are objectives of TRIMS? Correct. A. Eliminate discriminatory investment practices. B. Promote cross-border services. C. Ensure national treatment in investment. D. Reduce local content requirements. And E. Grant exclusive copyright licenses. Okay. Options are there on your screen. You can give your answer in a right comment box. All right, so right answer is option B, A, C and D. That means your eliminate discriminatory investment practices. Okay, then we have ensure national treatment in investment, and then we have D, reduce local content requirement. Correct. See, this one and this one. Okay, promote cross-border services. That means what? It is related to the GATS. And when it is asking, or when it is talking about the copyright licenses, then obviously it is related to the trips, not trims. Correct. Trims is related to the investment. Understanding? Okay. ACD, all aim at non-discriminatory investment practices under trims, that we have discussed in the theory session, right? Previous session. Cross-border services, that is GATS topic, and copyright is trips domain. Next question. Which of the following are binding obligations under TRIPS agreement? Okay. Patent protection for at least 20 years, then compulsory licensing conditions, then prohibition on parallel imports, then D, enforcement procedures for IP rights, and then technology transfer from developed to developing nations. Okay. Think on it critically and give me a right answer in a chat box. All right. So right answer is option C. That means A, B, and D only. Okay. Okay. So ABD clearly outlines the mandatory TRIPS provisions. Okay. The C option, which is saying prohibition for parallel imports, it is actually permitted. Okay. It is actually promoted to do. Correct. It is not prohibited. So option in the question is asking about the prohibition, but that is not correct. It is permitted, not prohibited. Then option E we have, okay, tech transfer is encouraged. Actually it is not legally binding. It is actually you can do. Understanding, it is encouraged that you can transfer technology with it, but there is no legally binding with the both countries. Understanding? So this, that is why it is also not correct option, and C also not correct option. Only ABD is correct option, which is totally related to the TRIPS provisions. Next question. Which of the following agreements emerged directly from the Uruguay round of trade negotiations? TRIPS, TRIMS, GATT 1994, or GATS or NAFTA? Options are there on your screen. ABDE, ACDE, BCDE, or ABCD. Okay, so all options are having one common, that is D. Correct. In option A, B, C, D, D is there. Understanding? All right. So option D is correct. A, B, C, D. All right. A, B, C, and D. TRIPS, TRIMS, GATT, and GATS all emerged from the Uruguay round. That is foundation of WTO in 1995. Right? NAFTA, a regional agreement including US, Canada, Mexico, which is not related to the WTO. NAFTA is a different agreement. All right. Okay, I'll give you homework for NAFTA. Okay. Okay, just put a comment in a comment box. What is the full form of NAFTA? All right, which is related to the North America. Already I have given you the hint. Now you have to complete the all answer. Right? Give in the comment box. TRIPS agreement is administered by which international organization? UNCTAD, WTO, IMF, or WIPO? Okay, so it is related to WTO. Obviously, we are already studying about the WTO agreements. Correct? So in the WTO agreements, we have a TRIPS, TRIMS, GATT, GATS, AOA, as well as, right? So all right. So WTO, okay, the agreements of WTO, we have TRIPS in it. Okay, TRIPS is a agreement of WTO, which is totally related to the IPR, that means intellectual property right. Then we have UNCTAD, which is totally not related to the WTO. Okay, and it is not related to the TRIPS as well. It is not related to the IPR as well. Understanding promotes trade and development but does not administer TRIPS. IMF, which is totally connected with the monetary terms. Okay, there is nothing to do with the IPR. WIPO deals with IPR globally, but actually not the TRIPS, right? It is not connected to the TRIPS, and TRIPS is directly connecting with the WTO. Understanding? TRIPS is the actually agreement of WTO. So right answer is WTO, not UNCTAD, IMF, WIP, nothing. Next, TRIMS agreement prohibits which of the following investment measures? Export subsidies, performance requirements like local content mandates, import duties, or patents restrictions. It is related to the performance requirements like local content mandates. Okay, TRIMS restricts policies like local content requirements and trade balancing measures that distort the trade. Okay, we have completed this point in the theory session. Export subsidies fall under SCM, subsidies and countervailing measures, not TRIMS. Then import duties are part of tariff policies, not investment measures. Then patent issues fall under TRIPS, not in TRIMS. Right? So that is why these are the correct answer, these are the wrong answer. You have an explanation of it. Correct? Next, which agreement ensures protection of copyright, trademark and patent in international trade? There is direct answer. It is TRIPS. Okay. GATT is related to the tariffs and goods. Okay. Barriers and tariffs. GATS is related to the services. Okay. It is related to the goods. It is related to the services. Right. And TRIMS is related to the investment. And this TRIPS is related to the IPR. That is intellectual property rights. Clear? TRIPS sets the minimum standards for IPR protection, patent, copyright, GI, वगैरह वगैरह, globally, right? GATT is trade in goods, GATS trade in services, and TRIMS investment related measures. Clear? Next, under GATS, mode 4 of supply refers to cross-border supply, consumption abroad, commercial presence, presence of natural persons. Just we have discussed in the previous questions, right? So the right answer is only D, that is presence of natural persons. It is asking about the cats. Okay, remember, every time the answers are not that difficult. It may be deep but not difficult. Correct? It is totally easy. What is important? You need to understand the question first. Clear?
Which of the following qualifies as a foreign direct investment? So four options we have, and one of them or two of them or three of them or maybe all of them are points which are covering or which are stating that this is the FDI. Okay. A foreign company acquiring 15% equity in an Indian company. B, purchase of Indian government bonds by foreign institutions. C, investment in Indian stock market through mutual funds. And D, establishing a new manufacturing plant in India by foreign firms. Options are like only A and D, only B and C, only ABC, or all of the above. So the right answer is option A, that is A and D only correct. Okay, when you have 15% equity in Indian company and establishing a new manufacturing plant in India by foreign firms, right? So these are the two types of FDIs that we have already seen in the theory session, right? See, FDI actually involves at least 10% equity should be there in Indian companies to call it as a FDI. That is important. Then option A qualifies as a FDI because the foreign firms acquire 15% equity. Correct. Minimum criteria is 10%, and it is the in the option we have seen it is 15%. Right. So obviously it is there. It is called as a FDI, right? Option D qualifies because establishing plant is direct investment, right? And B and C are passive investment. These are not FDI, but it is called FPI, right? But the question was asking the options which are qualifying as a FDI. So only uh, A and D is qualifying as a FDI, correct? Because one is having 15% investment and second is actually establishing a manufacturing plant, correct? Next, which of the following statement is or are true about FPI and FDI as well? FDI is a long-term investment. FPI is a more volatile than FDI. FDI brings in managerial control. FPI involves active control of business. Okay. Options are AB, ABC, BCD, or all of the above. So right answer is option B, that is ABC. A, B, and C. Okay. FDI is a long-term investment, that is correct. FPI is more volatile than FDI, that is also correct. FDI brings in managerial control, correct. Okay. FPI involves active control of a business. No, that can be happen in FDI when you are establishing a manufacturing plant over there. Correct. See, FDI is intended for long term, right? Presence and often includes management control or participation. In contrast, FPI is a quick and out, quick in and out. Okay, once you have invested for short term, you have what we can say withdraw all the money, that is done. That is called FDI. Okay, quick in and quick out, and hence more volatile. That is why it is called volatile, because it's not for a long term, it is for short term. Once you have investment for some time, you will withdraw your all money with the profit, correct? That is happening in the FPI. FPI does not allow investor and any say in how the company is run. So D is incorrect. Okay, so basically FPI is not like that thing where you have a business in another company, or sorry, another country, and you're having a manufacturing hub or anything. Okay, it's not like that. It is happening only in a long term period, that is from FDI. Okay, that the source is FDI, but FPI is just an investment where you can invest in another company in another country. Okay, that is only FPI. Next, which of the following are benefits of FDI for the host country, right? Employment generation, technology transfer, sudden capital outflow, improvement in foreign exchange reserves, and skill enhancement, right? Right answer is option A, A, B, D, E. Right? C is not there. C. FDI can help the host country by generating jobs, bringing new technology, strengthening foreign exchange reserves, right? These all points we have already discussed in the theory sessions. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel and just go to the description box. You will find a link over there. Okay, click on that link and watch the previous videos as well, because it is very important that you should clear your concept. Okay, obviously through the MCQs we'll cover it, but the more and more points will be covered in the theory session only. So watch that video as well, so you will be covering the whole topic, correct? Next, it also leads to training and skill enhancement for local workers. However, sudden capital outflow is more associated with FPI, not FDI, correct? Next, which of the following sectors in India attract the highest FDI inflow as per recent trends? Right? Service sector, telecom, retail trading, computer software and hardware, and education. See, this question is most important. Make it most important. Okay, this question. So right answer of this question is option C, only A and D. Right? Service sector, computer software and hardware. These are the sectors in India attracts the highest FDI inflow. Right? In recent years, India has received maximum FDI in service sectors like finance services, consultancy, and IT software industries as well, right? While telecom retail to attract FDI, they are not top contributors. Actually, where it is services, whether it is IT softwares, whether it is telecom retail, okay, all are coming in India as through the FDI. But services and IT, like IT is also a service sector, right? These are the industries which are coming maximum in India, okay, as compared to telecom and retail as well. Correct. Education has FDI limits and receives less investment comparatively. So basically, education has its limits. That much of education facilities or services only available, okay, to come in India. Uh, Along with that, sorry, apart from that, okay, or exceeding that limit is not available or not allowed in India actually. Correct. Next, which of the following are routes through which FDI can be brought into India? Automatic route, government approval route, hybrid route, strategic route, or brownfield investment? Correct. Right answer is option B, that is ABE. Right, hybrid route, strategic route is not considered. India allows FDI via automatic route, no prior approval. Correct. And government route needs approval, that we have discussed, okay, in the theory session. Brownfield investment is a type of FDI, right, which is referring buying or expanding existing assets and in common in FDI mode. Correct. Brownfield, that means you are acquiring the existing company or existing business. That is your type of FDI, brownfield, right? We have already covered all the types like horizontal, then we have vertical, right? We have brownfield, right? We have then what is it? And some of the types of FDI we have already discussed in the theory session. Okay, all the FDI types we have discussed, right? Greenfield is also there. Okay, so go and watch that videos as well. Hybrid and strategic routes are not recognized official categories. Okay, next. Which of the following statements differentiate FDI from FPI? This is very important. Okay, this is also we should make it as a important. FDI leads to capital information, FPI does not. FDI is illiquid, FPI is liquid. FDI is speculative, FPI is strategic. FDI includes physical assets creation, FPI does not. Okay, so the right answer is option A, ABD. Correct. See, FDI creates productive assets like factories or offices, improving capital infrastructure. Right here, you can see, right? It is not easily liquidated, unlike FPI, which is highly tradable and hence more liquid. Correct. FPI is speculative, so C is incorrect. Speculative. Here it is saying FDI is speculative. No, FPI is speculative. Okay. Next. Which of the following may be negative impact of FDI on a host country? A. Repatriation of profits, monopoly or market domination, technology transfer, cultural erosion, or exploitation of natural resources. So the right answer is option A, B, D, E. Apart from C, all are correct, we can say. Okay, C is not correct, but all are correct. While FDI has many benefits, there are some challenges too. Okay, like profit repatriation, reducing forex, dominance of foreign firms, hurting domestic industries, and exploitation of culture or resources. Right? Sometimes FDI are coming in India or coming in the other country. Okay, FDI is possible in every country. Correct. So they may exploit the cultural or resources, the natural resources, or that if that country, a particular country where FDI is coming, in that country the natural resources are maximum, those can be exploited. Correct. in terms of raw material understanding. So it is challenging too. Technology transfer is actually a benefit, not a negative. The question is asking about the negative impact. Okay, so these are negative impacts. Correct? Technology transfer, how it is negative? It should be positive, right? Next, which of the following qualify as FPI? Now FPI. The same question was asked, the first question about FDI. Now it is asking about FPI. Foreign investor buying shares on Indian stock exchange. Foreign investor buying debentures of an Indian economy. Foreign entity acquiring 12% equity in an Indian firm. Foreign mutual fund investing in Indian bonds. Foreign company buying real estate for personal use in India. Okay, so right answer is option A, that means A, B, and D only. Okay, C is not correct, A is also not correct. Okay, FPI includes financial instruments like shares, debentures, bonds that don't provide management control, right? So here you can invest like in another country, you can share, you can invest in shares, you can invest in debentures, you can invest in bonds as well. This is called FPI investment. Okay, C, that means 12% qualifies as FDI because it exceeds the 10% threshold. Correct? Here in the question, the 12% was asked in the C option. That is why we selected as a incorrect answer for that. E is neither FDI not nor FPI. Real estate for personal use is not categorized under either. Correct. See the question. Foreign company buying real estate for personal use in India. Here, two things. Sorry, one thing is important for personal use. It's not for business. It's not for investment. Right. So it should not be considered as a FDI and FPI as well. Next, which of the following are features of FDI and not FPI? Right? This is kind of a confusing question. Okay, if it is the features of FDI, why they have asked not FPI? Why they have written here, over here that it is not FDI's features? Okay, they could have said like which of the following are features of FDI only. Okay, and then full stop, nothing else. But to confuse you, okay, this kind of question can be asked. Which of the following are features of FDI and not FPI? And they will give you some kind of options related to the FPI. But you need to understand the question first, right? So what we need to do in this question, we need to find out the features of FDI only and we need to ignore the FPI. Correct. Bring in entrepreneurial skills, subject to sectoral caps in India, cannot be withdrawn easily, associated with long-term relationship, bring in volatile capital flows. The right answer is option A, B, C, D. A, B, C, and D. E is not correct. Okay, this is related to the FPI, not FDI. Okay, see, FDI is a long-term commitment, so in that reason, we bring it technologies and expertise as well and skills as well. In subject to caps in certain sensitive sectors. Okay, it is a subject to caps in certain sensitive sectors. E is not correct. FPI brings the volatile flows, not the FDI. Correct? So this is all about this question. Next question. Which of the following regulatory bodies in India oversees FDI and FPI, okay, respectively? RBI, SEBI, Ministry of Finance, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, or NITI Aayog. Okay, so right answer is option B, A and D for FDI, B for FPI. A and D for FDI, okay, and B, SEBI for FPI. Okay, ठीक है. FDI is monitored by RBI, okay, under FEMA and DPIIT for policy and approval route. FPI being a market-based financial investment is regulated by SEBI. Niti Aayog is a think tank and does not regulate actually the investment, whether it is FPI, whether it is FDI. Okay. The question is asking about the balance of payment definition. That means the correct option which defining the balance of payment. A record of income and expenditure of the government. B, a systematic record of all transactions, all economic transactions between resident of country and the rest of the world. Right. C, a record of only trade in goods. And D, a statement of foreign exchange reserves. So when we talk about the balance of payment, it is not limited thing, limited to the one government, limited to the only trade in goods, or limited to a foreign exchange reserves. It is limited to the, it's not limited to the, okay, it is the transactions between the residents of a country and the rest of the world. Correct? So that is why option B is the exactly correct answer. A, C, and D, these are the limited transactions. See, BOP is comprehensive record of all economic transactions like goods, services, income, transfers, investments between residents of a country and the rest of the world in a given period. Correct? That is called your exact BOP. It includes current and capital account. We have already discussed the current account and capital account in the theory session, right? If you have not watched the theory session, go to the description box. I have provided the link of the lectures, previous lectures. Watch those videos as well. In terms of other options, ACD are too narrow or maybe unrelated, right? In the theory session as well, we have discussed how BOP is calculated. So the things which are necessary to calculate, okay, the factors which are included in the calculation of BOP, we have discussed. Clear? So current account, capital account, finance account, reserves are all the things, how reserves are calculated, right? And what is the connection of a reserves with the BOP, that you will understand in the theory session. Next, which of the following are components of current account of a BOP, right? Merchandise, export and imports, services, which is unvisible, then unilateral transfers, remittances, and foreign direct investment, which is called FDI. Okay, we have already discussed FDI as well. So right answer is option ABC. Okay, see, FDI is a part of capital account, not the current account. Current account, that means the transactions of goods, services, income, unilateral transfers, right? These are considered in the current account, not in capital account. Capital account में क्या करेंगे? FDI, right? Next, a country is said to have BOP surplus when imports exceed exports, total capital inflows exceed outflows, forex reserves decline, or there is a deficit in the current account. So when total capital inflows exceed outflows, then we will call it as a surplus, BOP surplus. Understanding? When income, that means your inflow, okay, these both are more than outflow, okay, then we'll call it is a BOP surplus. Clear? और इसका उल्टा कर दो, when outflow is maximum, okay, when outflow is maximum or outflow is exceeding the inflow, that time we call it deficit. Okay, BOP deficit, right? BOP surplus means the country has more money flowing in than flowing out, usually through net capital inflows, right? A and D indicates deficit, not surplus, and C implies forex reserves are falling. All right, a sign of a stress, not surplus, not exactly defining the surplus. Okay, next. Which of the following transactions are included in the capital account of BOP? FDI, FPI, ECBs, foreign aid, imports of goods. Right answer is option B. That means A, B, C, not D. Okay. See, the capital account covers FDI, FPI, external borrowings, NRI deposits, and foreign aids. Okay, imports of goods are a part of current account, right? So only A, B, C are correct here. See, I think here current account में क्या include होता है goods, right? And this is the question which is asking about the exact the thing, imports of goods. No, it is not considered in the capital account. It is considered in the current account. Okay. Next, what does a persistent BOP deficit indicates about an economy? Strong foreign investment inflow, currency is under depreciation pressure, high export competitiveness, possible decline in forex reserves. Right answer is B and D. Okay, when currency is under depreciation pressure, one of the reason to indicate the deficit. Okay, and possible decline in forex reserves, right? These are very important things to indicate the deficit. All right, a persistent BOP deficit suggests that the demand for foreign currency is higher, leading to depreciation of a domestic currency, possibly draining the forex reserves. Correct. A and C are incorrect. They would improve BOP, not worsen it. Correct. Like strong foreign investment inflow, obviously it will increase the BOP. Then we have high export competitiveness. Export competitiveness is more, then obviously inflow will increase, right? When inflow is increasing, how we call it deficit? It is a surplus. Correct. It leads to the surplus, not exactly we call it surplus. Which of the following statements are true about the relationship between BOP and exchange rate? Very important. Okay, very important question. A, BOP surplus leads to appreciation of a domestic currency. B, a BOP deficit may lead to devaluation or depreciation. C, exchange rate movements can affect trade balance. And D, BOP and exchange rates are unrelated. Options are there: A and B only, A, B, C, B and D only, or all of the above. So right answer is option A, B, C only. BOP and exchange rates are unrelated, right? These are related. It's not unrelated. Okay. See, BOP and exchange rates are closely connected. There is a big connection of these both. Okay. When exchange rates or currency appreciation depreciation is happening, it will directly affect to the BOP. A surplus strengthens a domestic currency while a deficit weakens it. Correct. Also, weaker currency makes export cheaper, improving trade balance. Right. And D is the false. See, these things we have discussed in the theory session, right? How uh, the exports will be cheaper in a particular country. Okay, and why? What is the reason behind it? Getting it? How the factors of production will be also cheaper, and what is the exact effect of the of those lower labor or lower factors of production? Okay, that all things we have discussed. Correct. Next, which of the following are invisible items in the BOP? Software services exports, remittances from abroad, tourism income, machinery exports. Right is ABC. Okay. Invisible refers to non-physical flows like services. Right, invisible means services and visible means the goods. Okay, A and C and B also. D, the machinery exports is a visible item. Obviously, it is a good, right? It is a kind of goods, and goods are visible, right? And the question is about invisible, correct? That is why the machinery exports are not considered in that, correct? Invisible form a major part of India's current account income, not the capital. In India, which institution compiles and publishes BOP data? Ministry of Finance, RBI, SEBI, NITI Aayog. Right answer is option B, RBI. Okay, RBI is the responsible body to publishing the BOP data. Reserve Bank of India, RBI, is the sole authority responsible for compiling and publishing India's BOP data on a quarterly and annual basis as well. Okay, Ministry of Finance, SEBI are involved in the policy and regulations but not in publishing. Next, which of the following entries would be recorded as a debit in BOP? Import of goods, foreign tourist spending in India, Indian company repaying foreign loans, Indian remittances to relative abroad. Right answer is option A. That means A, C, and D. Okay, debit entries represent outflows of foreign exchange, such as imports, loan repayment, remittances sent abroad. Okay, B is a credit entry because it brings the forex into it. It is an inflow. That is why. Okay, the BOP identity states that current account plus capital account is equal to 0. BOP always balances in accounting terms. Capital account surplus offsets current account deficit, or trade surplus leads to currency depreciation. Right answer is option B, B and C. Okay. See, BOP always balances in accounting identity. Okay. That is totally correct. Due to changes in the reserves or capital flows. A capital account surplus can offset a current account deficit. Okay. That is also this one, B and C. Is a misleading A option. Okay, option A is a misleading. They don't always sum to 0, and D is wrong. Okay, a trade surplus strengthens the currency. Trade surplus leads to currency depreciation. This is not correct. Okay, it actually strengthens the currency. Yeah, that is why the correct option was only B and C, not A and D. Clear? All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. See you in the next session. Bye bye. Have a great day.